my name is Brittney Wenger, for you who don't know me, but I'm in Miss Harvey's. This says 5th, but I'm in her 4th period, AP Lit class. And next, Kendrick. Next. So my topic is, why does it take us so long to discover our true identity? Do you identify with how others perceive you? Do you identify with how you perceive yourself, or maybe it's both? So before you play the video, what I did was I took an authority figure, my mom, and a close friend, to say how they perceived me. And at the end, I was going to say if it was the same how I perceive myself. Oh, and Mr. Cleves didn't want me to show his face, and nor did my mom, so sorry.
I've known Miss Wing has changed over the years. She came in, had a few rough moments on the discipline side, but it's definitely a young lady who has pulled it together and shown the potential to do great things.
My name's Gabby. I'm Brittney's mom, and my perception of Brittney. Well, it takes more than 20 seconds, but she's resilient, passionate, and full of life. That's definite. Strong and confident, and beautiful. That's my favorite.
Hi, my name is Joe Carmona. I'm Brittney's great friend. Brittney's a really great person. She's nice, she's caring, she's dedicated, she's hardworking. She has her bad sides too, of course. You know, she has a temper, she has an attitude, sometimes she can't control it. But overall, she's still a great person.
So I chose those 3 types of people because I thought that they would view me and like have different views from me. But like obviously Miguel and Mr. Cleves pointed out that I have some rough patches, and you know I'm still working through them. But it had to take for me to understand like why is it that they perceive me that way, and it's because I portrayed myself that way. So nobody's gonna say, oh, she has an attitude if I've never given anyone an attitude, or say that I've gone through rough patches if I never did anything to get attention all the time. So how I would perceive myself is, you know, basically everything they said too, and I'm still working on it, but I wouldn't know that if I didn't self-reflect. So what I'm here to talk to you guys about is self-awareness. So psychologists have 2 types of self-awareness. Public self-awareness, which is how others perceive you and like based off your actions, and private self-awareness is how you perceive yourself. So for example, like for me, if I get nervous, like my cheeks start twitching, I start shaking, that's something I know about myself. I know that that's when I'm nervous. Okay. So self-awareness is just the ability to recognize yourself, things you do, what makes you you, what sets you apart from others. And some questions that I thought of when I looked at this definition is what makes you who you are and what sets you apart. And when I thought about it, initially it was kind of really hard for me to answer those questions. I didn't feel confident answering them, and I didn't know why. So next. So a little bit of my personal story. I met somebody who made me question my character. You know, I always thought that I was confident, that I knew who I was, I knew everything about myself, but when I met this person, like, they made me doubt myself, I guess, and doubt everything that I thought. So I decided to self-actualize because that's what they suggested. And self-actualization is just reaching your full potential through independence, spontaneity, and the grasp of the real world. Next. And so I remember hearing about it freshman year. They made us do an advisory called Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs, which is basically 5 basic needs that are split up on a pyramid, top to bottom. And so they said that to reach the top point, which is self-actualization, you have to fulfill each need. And the longer it goes being unfulfilled, the longer, like, there's a higher demand for it. So, like, the more you wait to eat food, the more hungry you get. So this is Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. It goes physiological, safety, belonging and love, self-esteem, and self-actualization. And those are just like the little necessities that they included for each need. Next. So what I thought about, I remember that Ms. Burns used to make us meditate before, like when we would talk about self-actualization, like close our eyes and think about all these things. And I looked up one of these studies that they did on Buddhists, that they just scanned, like they studied their brainwaves. But they meditate like all day, but what I decided to do for my form of self-actualization, I personalized it, which fit best for me. So what I do is like, I try to meditate in the morning or at night if I skip it. And I think about each of those needs. And I try to like sit there for 30 minutes, and if I feel confident, then I'll move on to the next step. But sometimes it doesn't happen like that. Sometimes it takes a week, it takes 2 weeks for me to move up to the next need. So that's just what I've been doing now, and it helps. I've learned, like, I've become more confident when people ask me, like, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Like, if I had to go into an interview, I would be really confident. I wouldn't feel bad having to point out my weaknesses. So my solution for this is, I guess it's kind of been frustrating for me, sitting through some of these TED Talks and people being like, there's really no solution. And I don't know if it's just the topic or what it is, but I know that for me, all you have to do is make time. Like, this is the time to be selfish. Like, this is the one time it's okay to be selfish. So what I want you guys to do is just prioritize self-actualization more. So it's not hard. You could, like, I told you guys my way. You don't have to do it that way. There's many other ways. And I didn't know I didn't want to list them all out because it's endless. But here's just like 4 basic steps to just get started on what to do. So it's stop measuring yourself against others. You're your own individual for a reason. Like, something that I do may be different from what Sabrina does. But we have different things that make us individuals. Step 2, learn to accept yourself and love yourself. Once you do that, you'll be confident enough to do anything. 3, understand that you're in control. You're able to make your own decisions. When they were explaining this step, they put this code that said, if you're realistic, honest, and above all, authentic, there's nothing you can't achieve. And I strongly believe in that. And then 4, never stop growing. This isn't a fast process. You're not going to learn everything about yourself and discover your true potential in a week. It's like ongoing. Everything's changing around you. You have to learn to adapt to the change and just go with it and just not give up.